Hey there, everybody. My name is Faz, and today I wanted to talk about a little something that very recently occurred to me um, that I've just seen around, and I wanted to address it. Um, I've been watching a lot of Louis Rossman recently, which, if you haven't seen his videos, I highly, highly recommend it. I'm going to link him in the description. He's a tech YouTuber, he's a political activist. Um, been lobbying for right to repair for so long, and I really like his work. And I was inspired by him to talk about this, um, and that's the idea of convenience fees and a very specific type of convenience fees. Now, I don't have a problem with convenience fees to some degree. I think for, convenient services, stuff like food delivery, grocery delivery, stuff like that, where the service is a convenience, it's okay to have a convenience fee. Like, but there's a lot of times where convenience fees are not used in that sort of way. They're simply just used as a way to siphon money out of you. I think the best example that I can give is convenience fees for like concert ticket sales. Companies like Live Nation, for example, or Ticketmaster, all of them have convenience fees for getting tickets online, which is a little strange to think about. You know, like, yes, it's convenient that you're getting online, but nobody is actually assisting you in getting those things online to validate that convenience fee. The specific thing that I wanted to talk about, though, and I'm going to put the picture probably there, um, is this recent company that I have had to deal with. Um, this company is called CSC Service Works, and before I um, say anything, I just want to say that most of everything that I'm going to say in this video is my opinion. The only things I'm going to tout as facts are stuff that I have photo evidence of, as well as stuff that I directly read from their website. Everything else in this video is going to be my personal opinion. Now, CSC Service Works is a company that does laundromat machines, you know, dryers, washers, and they're the company that my university has decided to work with. Now, this puts me in a precarious spot because, I go to university and I need to do my laundry. It's very important to smell clean and nice. So last year, these CSC service machines, and even up to 2 weeks ago, as the time of recording this, these machines costed $1.50 a load between the washer and the dryer individually. It was about $3 to do your laundry, which never fun, but if you're paying for a service, it's a fair price, right? Well, quite recently, I'm going to put the photo up here right now, a pop-up appeared on these payment modules on these machines, that they were going to start charging a convenience fee for using your credit card to pay for this as compared to downloading their app. Now, I took a particular problem to this because why are you charging a convenience fee? This is a service that I'm doing by myself. You guys have provided the hardware. You're already making money on each of these loads individually. Is it more convenient for me to use my credit card or to download your app? This is a completely unnecessary introduction of a convenience fee. It is only 25 cents, and most people would probably tell you, well, 25 cents isn't that big of a deal. But I fundamentally disagree with that. I think anytime a corporation is trying to separate you from your money, that's inherently a bad thing. Now, 25 cents for a convenience fee wasn't too bad. That bumps up your laundry total to $4 a load instead of $3, which over the course of a semester, that adds up very quickly. That's $10 extra that is leaving your account. And it's quite annoying. Well, even more recently, I left for a weekend and came back, and I found out that the price of these loads of laundry got bumped up from $1.50 to $1.75 on top of the 25-cent convenience fee. Now, this is siphoning even more money out of you. I think I said it was $4 earlier, but that number was wrong. It's $4 now with the price hike. And, this is an extra 25 cents plus the 50-cent convenience fee for essentially the same service. The machines have not changed. They're the same as they always were. In fact, they might have gotten worse. Now it takes multiple runs to dry my clothing. So I was quite annoyed about it. And, trying to mitigate the service fee, I was like, okay, let me check out this app that they want you to install. And being the paranoid person that I am, I decided to read over their terms and conditions and their privacy policy regarding what they do with your data. So let's just take a look at the app real quick. This is the CSC Pay Mobile Coinless Laundry. You put your credit card in here or your debit card information, and you load money into it, and you pay for it that way as compared to just physically paying with your card outright while there. And, that is a very convenient thing to do. I would argue it's probably more convenient than physically paying with your card, so I don't know why paying with your card has a convenience fee. But with the existence of this app, essentially what they're trying to do, if you look down here, there is a data and safety guide here. No shared data with third parties. Cannot confirm and or deny that. Companies, I'm going to say that they don't, just because that's what's listed here. But they do collect data. They collect, personal info, your approximate location when you have the app installed, financial information, which is for payment processing. So, in a pay app like this, that is fair. App info and performance, also kind of fair. Device or other IDs is where this gets iffy. Same with, the location here. And even, address, phone number. Email address is one thing. They say it's to prevent fraud. I guess if you're signing up for this and you're agreeing to their terms of service. Everything else, though, is a little peculiar. But what we know from this is they are, in fact, harvesting data. And going onto their website here and looking at their privacy policy, personal information we collect here, identification, name, email address, account number, phone number, your financial information, which we went over earlier, audio if you're making a phone call with them, and just by using their products and engaging with this, you are agreeing to these terms of service. You don't have to, sign anything. You just simply need to be using the product. It's an implied contract. Your student identification information. Now, this is a company that does operate in a lot of student facilities. So it makes sense. I remember using these at a different school where you could use your school card to pay for it. So I get it. This is where it starts getting a little more interesting, though, is the internet activity information. So, if you access any of their stuff on a browser, as compared to, an app, even though most of these apps are, in fact, just interfaces for internet, like an internet website. And this is where it gets a little interesting looking at this here. Log information, it's harvesting your browser type, all that sort of stuff. What you're using, when you're using it, names of device. It's harvesting your operating system, browser information, your device settings, what you're using, the actions you take. It says here directly time, frequency, and duration of your activities, and location information, which I think is a very interesting thing. Information through the app. They collect your IP address here, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS coordination. You can opt out of it, but it seemingly is turned on by default. Even though you can opt out of it, so there you go. That's something. So, and then also here the third parties. We may collect personal information about you from third parties that interact with us in connections with services such as advertising and marketing partners, lead service generation, and property managers. Now, that's the big thing. Marketing partners. Every single thing about your data and the way it's being harvested ultimately goes back to getting this giant data profile on you to start advertising. Your data being collected by companies like this also puts it at risk. Risk to be leaked, bought around, sold, just to collect your, in this case, it's taking your IP address, Wi-Fi, or not the Wi-Fi, but, your IP address, your GPS location if you have location services turned on, email address, phone numbers, all that sort of stuff can get leaked and placed anywhere. And it's a dangerous thing. So essentially what they're saying with, their 25% convenience fee to download this app is they're putting you in a situation where to use their products, you either have to pay them extra to not opt into their app or opt into their app and allow them to harvest your data. And that's something that I have a huge problem with. I think ultimately it's very scummy of these companies to do this sort of thing. It's a force against the consumer almost. It's always, every single time one of these data practices is ever put into play, especially when it's advertising and marketing data, it's always anti-consumer inherently. And it's just dangerous. It's dangerous for you. I'm sure that they have security protocols in place, but security protocols exist to slow down people, not stop them entirely. And it's a very scummy thing for a company to do, to essentially force your hand in saying, you're going to pay us this extra, what would it be, $5 throughout your time using our products. Let's say it's like a 10-week span and you're doing it once a week. Or we're going to harvest your data, we're going to send that over to advertising firms, we're going to make money off of it, and we're going to make a lot more money than we would by you forking it over to us. So ultimately, if you are using this, these CSC machines, I would just eat the 25% convenience fee. I don't think it's worth it putting another app onto your phone or whatever device you're using for the app. Giving over that data. You should be doing everything, especially in today's day and age, to protect your information. It's the most valuable thing that you have while on the internet. And the best way to do it is to just simply not interact with this software. Download your ad blocks, download your, make it like a DNS level, like download stuff that hides your IP address, just stuff so that they don't know it's you, or at least they have a harder time getting information that it is you. God forbid that there's another data leak. All of a sudden more people have your data, you're getting more advertisements, scam calls. It's very dangerous world that we live in on the web, and you should protect yourself. Ultimately, I think that, stuff like this is inherently predatory. Um, Contact lawmakers about it, state, federal. Um, do this the right way. If you're unhappy with it, like I am, do this the right way. Contact your representatives, um, you know, contact your state representatives. Call them, tell them, hey, I believe that monetization, convenience fee plans like this are inherently predatory. Here's the information about it. I'd like you guys to work on something about this. Be active. Be active in it. Do this the right way. Don't go out and harass this company. You know, be active. Be active in politics. I know I'm going to call state representatives. I'm going to collect stuff on this and pass this because it's something that I think is predatory and that these companies shouldn't be able to get away with. So I hope you all have a great day. Be safe out there, and bye-bye.